Hello and welcome. It is the 15th day of October 2019. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. But I want to talk about ratio trading. For I got into this pretty much at the start. I let it first go down. Of course, I didn't. It happened to be look like this when I would have first gotten in. Probably, I'm guessing around 120 something in this area, September 21st maybe. And this is what the market's done. It goes from 108 to over 160, 165, down to 103, up to 140, down to 114, up to 144, and then a bunch of this not as volatile range between 120 and 135. So that not volatile range is 7%. I mean, some forex markets go years with a 7% volatility anyway. And then this move that takes more time or longer amount of time compared to these ones in here, which, okay, obviously less trades. I'll show you that in a bit. But 125 down to 0.88, now up to, it's gotten as high as like, we got like 118 or so. Right now at 114. And just waiting for the market to do its thing. I'm not trying to predict when it's going to go. I'm not trying to predict if it's going to go up or down. I mean, I don't care if it goes up next to 140 or if it goes back down to under 1 again. I'm just going to play the numbers upon it. An idea of what I would put in a spreadsheet for something like this is one, I got the HBR price, which this would I manually put this in. This automatically gets placed here. So the current ratio is in at 113.8. What the last trade is. So September 23rd, September 25, 729. All those trades in there. Well, September 23, this move up, and then September 25 back down in here, and then 27 on the way up, and then there's 29, and you can see I'm taking advantage of every swing to the up and the downside. But you don't always get these lows for. I wasn't able to. I mean, oh man, this would have been so nice to get. I waited on this, it didn't happen. But meaning I waited for this just go down a little bit more below the 88 number. As we can see in here that it was 982 that I got on October 11th, and then 114 on October the 7th. So after all of these trades here, it took like 8 days without a trade, then four, and then another four for today, which is like, considering these are like 17, 18, 20% flips on each side. That's pretty good, and I'm not. It's rare for me to get. I'm happy to get 10% flips, and yet these are because of the low volatility we've been getting. But these have a little bit nicer. I also have it set in here to automatically tell me how many of each that I'm up or down along the way. So I've got it. I've gained 1,290 of the Hedera, and I'm out 422 Raven for an average price just on that alone of 0.327, which is much better than where the current market price is at 115. Because now, if I were to get rid of 422 of these, I get um, maybe about a little under 300, almost high 300s, under 400 of them, and yet I got 1290. So I've got over 900 or 900 of them for free, as I like to call it, but through trade or through gains as well. Because within the ownership in here, my last trade, I ended up selling almost 1,000, which would have brought this down to under five. So I had about six, and I took about 1/6 of what I had, and I gained 1,100 of these, which brought me from 33. So I gained 33% more on just this trade. This isn't theory. This is math. I mean, math. There is nothing. There's no interpretation when it comes to mathematics as long as the math numbers aren't interpreted. And the gains that you can have by having these aggressive type of sales, which is what I'm trying to do with this game, well, it's going to be fun. And if I've only done this in a few days, I mean, considering a lot of the other markets are dry, I'll call it, or just bad for trading compared to what they could be and where I think they will be, this one's doing pretty good. And I think this is dry compared to where it could be, too. Because I'm just doing all the black screen games I used to do with like 2015 and 16 volatility. I'm looking at that from back then. I'm like, man, if I could get a piece of that today, that'd be just so sweet. Like even half of what it was like. And this isn't even close to half of what it was like right now. And within it, we can even see how the trade backs work out in here. So on the first trade, I got rid of 925. I got back 1487. Then I liquidated 1435. So just a small gain. But here, I gained not quite 200 of these HBRs. And then I end up dishing another 1289 out. And in this sense here, I went with a little more of aggressive sell on this, but it worked out that when this one came back, okay, well, I gained 1,800 of these. Let's just sell about 1,700 of them. So that's a gain of about 120. And then here, I end up gaining about 150 on that deal. And then from this flip back in here, we can see that, okay, I take a gain, let's gain 150 on this type of deal. And this is up like close to 200. This was because volatility was lower. I just sold 1245 only, and then another 1050 at 982, which means on this trade back I sold again close to 1,000, so a gain of about 130, and a gain here of about 60 something. And that's really how I look at it. And if I got opportunities to make aggressive plays where I can sell half or all of these at one time, I'll do it because that's all about the game and how you play it. And when it comes down to it, 115 is my last trade. So, okay, let's wait for it to go like. If we go back up here, that's okay. If we go up to about here, 145, and that would be good. But as I mentioned to you before about not getting the bottom, it was like 98, I think it was. Yeah, 98 I got before, which was like right in here. So at the time, this was like, okay, yeah, you know what? I gotta buy. I gotta buy, and then it goes down. I'm waiting to possibly get some more. And I thought about even doing it. Like, okay, it's not bad. It's like 13%. I'd like to get just, I don't know, I'd like to get to 85, 84, I was thinking. So be it. It doesn't happen. It just means that if I would have got it in here, then I would have been pretty happy to sell even at this high, maybe. Now, what it would have been nice would have been like, okay, I'm not happy with 106. I want at least 110, and then you end up getting like what the same price. You get 115 because you were waiting for it. Like, oh, it's because I just noticed like earlier today. I'm like, oh, it's H bar having a spectacular move within, of course, this hour. We can see how just in the hour alone it goes up 7.59% in just 1 hour. And to me, as I mentioned, like this is dry light kind of deal compared to a lot of the stuff that I have seen before. But what I'm hoping for are these types of shenanigans in here. Because in calculating how much I'm up in a very short period of time, we're still a week away from being a month away or a month in. So I look at it this way: how much have I gained on either coin? Well, HBR. Well, I have an extra 1290 now, but I would have to sell these 422 on the market. And in doing so, with the ratio as it is, I would get uh, back at least around 390 of these. Or I'd have to sell 390 of these at least around that to get, not, or almost 390 to get 422. So it's safe to say I'm up about 900 of these coins. Maybe a little more, but for what it's worth. So in that sense there, if my HBR ownership was at 4,000 or so to start, and I'm up like 900, then that would be about 22 or so percent. But I'd have to divide it by two because that's on the double stick. So I'm up 11%, at least according to the HBR price. As far as the Raven price, and I made it a little, I was close to even, but not quite when I did it. So these numbers should be a little off as it is just on that fact. But if I were to say, for example, sell the 1290 HBR right now at the market price, I'm going to get back like 1,500, maybe a bit more than that. So I'm going to have over 1,000 of these things in profit. So 3,400, or so if I started this off with 4,800. So I would be like, again, like the 20ish or so percent. So I've managed to make about 11, 12% gain on just the coin aspects. Dollar aspects, because of what I got in, I've already checked that number out. It's up against the dollar. and it's up against the Bitcoin as well since I've started it. Of course, a lot of the ones that I've done are down against both because of the major decline that has been going on since April the 1st. But the whole point of this game, again, for me, when it comes down to it, and I'm going to switch this chart over to, well, Ravencoin because it's got the history. H bar, I mean, every coin's the same as far as market movements. And I can show you 30 or 40 different previous coins for these examples because it's all the same. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and show the Ravencoin. And we're on the daily chart, and these moves are big. But the way I look at it is, as far as accumulation, distribution, all that type of stuff, when the markets are up like this, you sell. These opportunities come, you take advantage of it. You don't need to predict here, oh, it's going to go up because you'd be wrong. But who cares? You just wait it out. And you just keep doing all this stuff on the downtrend. And then you just wait and wait. You don't need to predict when it's going to happen. You just need to just be alert. And it happened. It didn't matter. It could have happened. Started here. Either way, it's all the same. You just react to it. And then at some point, you have to ask yourself: is it worth playing the game differently? Because obviously, I'm going to keep on dividing this by the coin. And if this goes up in a unique move against other coins, then the two situations are going to happen. Number one, the ratio is going to get way out of whack, and I'm just going to be really accumulating. In this case, say this happened when H bar wasn't really doing it much at all. It was going up like 50, 60% tops, or not even that. Then I'd be selling a whole bunch of this for the H bar. And then when this came back down, it'd be awesome. I'd be getting all that back for profit. But also, what I want to do when these situations get really high is, okay, when it gets big, 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 I want to start selling this against Bitcoin. And the question would be back in here when it was 2 3/4, 275, and it goes to 1682. Is that high enough? And I could say why that might be no. Maybe you do start to sell some. It's like okay, even though it's just a shorter term move. If you thought this was too much and you allocate a little bit to Bitcoin to buy back on the cheap, you were incorrect and you were correct. And anywhere up here, if you thought that again, you were correct. Now, why did I say incorrect and incorrect and correct here? Well, incorrect because we had another leg higher. You lost out on gains. Correct because you've had ample opportunity to buy that back at a cheaper price, even though it took. I mean, this was you selling back in early part of March, and then not be able to see those good prices until the end of June. But you know what? That's just how it is. You throw your Bitcoin in the wallet or store it where you will be, and to be able and maybe you're still waiting for a cheaper price. You might get it, you might not, but that's the whole point. In this here, you're like, okay, I sold this at 1,400. I don't want to buy that to like 600 or so. Well, this would have been 600 here. If you missed it here, you had more opportunities later. So that's really what it comes down to. So along the way, as it does all its things, I want to increase my coins so that what happens if, say, we get to situations where this is bigger than that? And we've seen this before, where, say, this goes from 269 to, say, 5,000 or 6,000 Satoshi. Now we start talking about 2x moves, 20, 30, 40x kind of gains. And even in the three figures, 100, if not even close to 1,000, but we're not going to go there for this. Although that's fun when you have that situation. It's just I might lose control of it already about 100 to 200x gain. But with that being stated, when you have these gains like that are superior, if they're individual moves where the other markets aren't doing anywhere near that, then you just play it as it is, sell it against the ratio. But you could have these things all go up together, where you have a dartboard rally where over a period of time, this might go up 12 times, and maybe the other one goes up 9 times or 20 times. Well, in those situations, I'm going to be selling both of them for Bitcoin and just continue ratio trading as normal. But it will mean like situations where let's go back to this again. I'll keep ratio trading this, and right now I got 4,000 of each. I plan to have 10,000 of each, and 12,000, 15,000 on average. And really, it's going to always fluctuate back and forth with market conditions. Where I could get up to 12,000 of each, then next thing you know, I got 20,000 of one and 3,000 of another, or 4,000 of another, like that. And then the trade back will come in, and it's a fun game. I enjoy this game. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.